Chronic illnesses are affecting hundreds of millions of people all over the world, costing $40 trillion in damages to themselves and the loss of economy from all the millions of people dying for no reason. So, if you want to learn about chronic disease and how to stop it, watch this video and I'm going to try and give you some information that can help you make better choices to reduce your risk of chronic disease, improve your physical health. This is not going to be so much about mental health, although that is going to be part and parcel of, if you're unhealthy, your mental health is also is not in the best place. So what we're going to talk about today is something that I call the disease triangle. So let's clear some space. Disease triangle. You have to understand in all aspects of life that there are multiple reasons for things occurring. Like, there's not just one singular cause of a disease. There are multiple causes of disease. And the three main reasons why you end up with a disease are your genetics, the environment, and your behavior. Behavior, environment, and genetics. And these three aspects form a triangle that feed each other in both directions. Your behavior affects your environment affects your behaviors affect your genetics, and your genetics affect your behavior, and your genetics affect your environment around you, and they also are affected by your environment. There's nothing you can do about your genetics unless you're having some very expensive experimental gene therapy or something like that, that you can actually try to change your baseline genetics. That's very expensive and very difficult to do. But you have control over your environment and you have control over your behavior. And if you learn to control your environment and behavior in a way that supports the genetic code that you have, you can improve your quality of life even if you have an incurable genetic condition. Let's take an example of one. It's called EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Is a genetic condition that affects the connective tissue in your body. So if you have a mutation on the gene that controls the production of collagen, and that affects your skin, your tendons, your ligaments, your bones, literally everything in your body is made of collagen. So if you have a condition that affects your ability to make collagen, and that collagen has different physical properties, maybe it's more brittle or more stretchy or whatever that genetic mutation causes in the protein structure, there's nothing you can do to change that code. But by changing your environment and changing your behavior, the effects of the disease can be minimized and at least not cause as much damage as they would if you had the genetic condition and a terrible environment and terrible behaviors. So learning the BPM lifestyle enables you to control your environment and your behaviors in a much more structured way to try to reduce the chance of getting a chronic disease, or if you already have one, try to reduce the symptoms of it, or potentially try to cure the disease completely. If it's not a genetic cause, if it's caused by something else, then it's possible to completely reverse them. your environment is made up of key parts: the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the food that you eat, and then you have pathogens that you pick up from your environment. So COVID, good example of what we've all had the experience of in the last 4 years, is a pathogen that exists out in the environment that enters your body through your nose and mouth. Generally can also go in through eyes and ears a little bit, but the chance of that happening are much lower. So the primary routes of entry into your body are through your lungs and through your mouth and digestive system. Your skin is really good at protecting you from the outside world unless it has trauma, in which case you've got a cut that can get infected by some external pathogens. But most of the pathogens come in through your lungs and through your head, basically. Unless you talk about the sexually transmitted diseases, obviously they're coming through a different place. But generally, air, water, food, and the pathogens in the environment are the main routes of entry for disease. So if you live in a heavily polluted city full of lots of different types of pollution, then your air environment is terrible and you're likely to develop some kind of respiratory disease in the future. If you are living in a place that doesn't have sanitized water, you're drinking water that includes bacteria, viruses and parasites and God knows what else, then your environmental source of water is going to lead to disease. So you have to make sure that you're trying to balance all of the parts of the triangle in order to give yourself the best chance of survival. Because this world is a dangerous place, but you have choices that you can make to improve these things. Your behaviors are related to your environment because you interact with your environment with your behaviors. So a behavior can be going to the gym every day. That behavior is going to have a beneficial effect on your genetics. It's going to give your body stimulation, which says, okay, right, let's ramp up protein synthesis of muscle fibers. It's going to grow a bigger, stronger body. That's a genetic effect of your behavior. But your behaviors can also be something like smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is a behavior. It's something that you choose to do. Then, unless you were tied down and someone forced a cigarette in your mouth against your will, you'd made the choice to have that first cigarette, and you made the choice to continue having cigarettes. That's a behavior. That behavior affects your ability to get oxygen into your body, which is going to have a negative effect on your health. There's no way you can say that smoking a cigarette is not going to have a negative effect on your health. It will have a negative effect. How bad that effect is will depend on how much you smoke and how many years you've been smoking, but there is no way to smoke cigarettes and not get some kind of damage. So this behavior changes your gas environment and leads to genetic problems which overall cause lung cancer or emphysema or whatever other lung condition is exacerbated by the smoking. The same thing with alcohol. Alcohol is a behavior. You choose to pick up a drink and drink it. You can choose to drink water, you can choose to drink a smoothie, you can choose to drink orange juice, or you can choose to drink poison. If you choose to drink poison, your body is going to have to deal with that. And the fact that your body is forced into a position where it's trying to remove a toxin that you've intentionally ingested means that while it's doing that, it can't work on all the other processes that it's trying to do to remove other problems. The waste products from metabolism, other pathogens it's trying to fight, all sorts of other chemical pollution that's coming into your body. Somehow your body's going to try and fight all of that as well. So you're then intentionally ingesting a poison which shuts down your ability to process other things, which then leads to a cascade of effects through your entire system, which is eventually going to affect your whole body, your mind. Everything is going to be affected by this behaviour. And it's going to lead to a disease eventually. It could be fatty liver disease, it could be cirrhosis of the liver, it could be cancer. There's so many causes of disease from a behaviour of drinking alcohol. You can choose to drink something else. It is a choice, unless you're super addicted, in which case you need to get addiction treatment. But most people are not actually addicted to alcohol, they just drink it for fun. And drinking a poison for fun is a bit silly, really, when you think about it. But the other main thing that we do every day is eat. And what you eat will affect everything in your body. What you eat is not just a joke, it's real. You are made of cells that are constructed from the food that you eat. If you consistently, every single day, eat unnutritious food that has all sorts of things in there that you shouldn't eat, you are eventually going to cause a chronic disease. You need to eat what your cells need to repair. If you put them into an environment where they don't have the resources to repair a cell, that cell is going to either be dysfunctional or die. You have to get all the different cells in your body have slightly different requirements, and you need to feed them with all the materials that they need. And if you're not giving your body one particular thing, or multiple things, it can't do its job properly. You take supplements, or you can actually eat the food that has the whatever that nutrient is, whether it's a vitamin, a mineral, or amino acids, or fatty acids, or carbohydrates, or whatever. You can eat BCAAs, and you can get your amino acids from a bag of powder, or you can eat real food and get amino acids from the natural source. The natural source is obviously better. I'm not shaming the supplement industry. I take some supplements myself, but you need to get the majority of your nutrients from actual food. And 90% of what's in the supermarket is man-made rubbish. It's tasty. I mean, it tastes amazing, and I'll eat a bag of Pringles, or a tube of Pringles, non-stop till I feel sick. And then I'll keep wanting to eat more because they're designed to trigger you to want to eat more. This isn't real food. It's not got any cells in it whatsoever. It's made of chemicals. Like starch is a chemical. When it's in a potato, it's not a chemical. It's actually a whole potato. Yeah. But you take the starch out completely and have just pure starch. It's then a chemical. Chemicals are man-made from the environment. Chemicals. I would do more on chemistry separately, but if it's made in a lab, it's not natural. Okay, I don't care if it came from a natural source or whatever. If it's made from a lab, it's not natural. Apples grow on a tree. Eat the apple, you will get a whole food containing lots and lots of nutrients that your body needs to survive. You can pick strawberries. You can pick these things live from the plants that they grow on, eat them immediately without any processing whatsoever. This is a natural thing for humans to do. It's not a natural thing for humans to do to eat a cow, because you don't have the ability to kill it without a weapon. This is not a natural thing to do. It's something that humans have learned to do through our behaviours. We've learned that if we can heat up this rock, we can turn it into a metal, and we can shape that metal into something that can stab someone in the throat and kill them, and then that way we can eat their dead body. This is not a natural process, this is a man-made invention. Same as driving a car or flying an aeroplane. They're not natural things for humans. They're natural things for a bird to fly, but it's not a natural thing for a human to fly. So when you go against your nature, you are going to introduce stimulation to your DNA that wasn't supposed to be there. And your DNA then has to deal with that new environmental experience. And if it doesn't have the ability to deal with that thing, it has to adapt. And this is how evolution happens over time, is the sensory environment of the organism, whichever organism it is that's evolving, It evolves with its environment. So as its environment changes, it will change in response to its environment. That's how DNA evolves. It's been going on for billions of years. Whether you believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old or not, it's up to you. You believe what you like. But if evolution has happened over billions of years since first individual cells, which was life for the first billion years or whatever, before multicellular organisms became common, and then eventually land mammals and the huge dinosaurs or whatever. But now we've killed most of the big animals. There's not many big animals left anymore. Most of the elephants are gone. But yay, humans! We're exterminating everything in our path. That's a behaviour that causes negative effects on you and the environment and everybody else. So you need to get out of victim mentality in terms of your disease. Yes, there are external causes to your disease that are beyond your control, and there's nothing you can do about those particular things. But you can control what you eat, and you can control what you drink. You haven't got a robot arm that someone's forcing you to put a glass of alcohol in your face. There's nobody forcing you to do it. You're doing that to yourself. Your brain is saying to your arm, put a drink inside me. So you have to take responsibility for your own behaviour. Whether you go, I'm addicted, and therefore there's nothing I can do about it. That's not true. People cure addiction all the time. You just need some help. There are programs that can help you with these problems. You don't have to do it on your own. But taking responsibility for what you do to yourself is a massive step in reducing the risk of future disease and making the diseases that you have currently either get better or stay the same, or at least not get worse. If you do nothing and just continue the life exactly as you've been living right now, and you make no positive changes to your behaviour or your environment, you are eventually going to lead down it runs in my family, and everyone in my family has heart disease, therefore I'm going to get heart disease. But that's not true. Behaviours and beliefs run in families. There are some genetic parts of that, but your environment when you're growing up as a kid, where your parents feed you and that's your sensory environment, you adapt to that environment. So you learn all your behaviours and your beliefs from the people around you, and if they already had negative beliefs that they put onto you, the negative behaviours that they expose you to, you're going to be on the same path to the diseases that they end up with when they're older, unless you break the chain and you break the behaviours and the patterns of programming that were forced on you as a baby that you had no control over. But now that you're an adult with an independent mind, you can decide at any point, enough is enough, and I'm going to break the genetic curse of my family history, and I'm going to heal myself. I'm the first person in my family to not have a cancer diagnosis yet. Fingers crossed. I'm 44, haven't got there yet. And I'm the only one who's not obese, because I made the decision to not be. It is a decision that you have to make when if you're obese, when you're basically in such a horrible state of mind, because everywhere around you, people hate you. They shout obscene things at you in the street, randomly. Like random people, not even about people you know, but some random stranger will just shout out some absolutely obscene stuff to your face in the middle of the road as you're just walking down the road and just minding your own business. The mental torture of existing as an obese person from the abuse that you get from your environment is absolutely horrific. I'm going to go into a more detailed video about what it was like when I was 100 kilos. It wasn't fun. There is no part of that life that I was like, I'm really happy to be obese. I'm really glad I can't breathe when I walk up the stairs. I'm really glad I've got all these illnesses. I'm really glad I'm in constant pain. I'm really glad I get abused by everyone in my environment. No, that's not a good place to be.
if you want to say, oh, I'm obese and I'm happy, great, good for you. But there is going to be damage to your body. If you are like, well, I don't care if I damage my body, I don't care if I die, that's a really sad position to be in. But there are a lot of people like that don't care if they die. They're like, yeah, so what? I might as well just drink myself to death. So what if I get lung cancer? So what? We'll die anyway, might as well die living with my, whatever their thing is that's causing their disease. Or you can say, actually, I want to maybe change my life and live more in alignment with my DNA. Your genetics control everything about what your body is going to need. There's certain genetic conditions that can be supported by different types of supplements and diet, basically. If you've got, for example, I'm just going to pick a random problem. If you have this could be a general term, if you have a gene that controls for one of the proteins that's an enzyme that controls a specific reaction, then you can, if you know you have that disease because you've had a genetic test, then you can work out how to supplement through your diet or through any kind of supplementation that can help with that particular biochemical pathway. So having more information about your DNA is massively important, and we have that technology now that you can get a full DNA scan that will tell you every mutation that you've got and give you a risk assessment for potential future diseases. Costs about $400 now, you can get a full genome scan. To have that technology now is absolutely amazing because there is a choice, there is a hope that if there is a problem, there's a way to find a solution. If you don't identify what the problem is, there's no possible way of finding a solution. So with now that we have gene testing, we can find that, okay, I've got a problem with dopamine production, which leads to low baseline dopamine, which causes the symptoms of ADHD. Autism also has genetic components to it. So if you can figure out what those genes are and what's needed to help those genes, supplement the processes that those genes control, then you have some way of controlling your condition. It's not easy to do any of this. It's not easy to live a healthy lifestyle. There's so much temptation in the world. There's so much bad, terrible food everywhere. Every event that you go to everyone is drinking poison. Every event that you go to, people are eating absolute trash food. Everywhere you go for some kind of celebration, some religious celebration, Christmas, Easter, or whatever celebration, it's always centered around feasting on food that's really bad for you. So all these environmental factors all make it so difficult for anyone to live a healthy lifestyle. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. There are people out there that reverse all of their chronic conditions like I did. There's millions of people that are breaking their addictions to food and alcohol and cigarettes. There's millions of people that are making their lives better. But there's hundreds of millions of people that are sitting on their ass doing nothing about it and then complaining that they're sick. You can change. You may not be able to cure your disease, but through lifestyle and food changes and supplementation if necessary, you can put your body into a position where your chance of developing a disease is much lower. Just a few simple changes will halve your risk of chronic disease. If you do all the 21 steps of the BPM lifestyle program, your chance of chronic disease will go down 80%, maybe even more. And it's for free. It's just 21 different choices that you make each day. You just have to have the will to want to change yourself for the better, a lot of people don't care. They're not interested in self-improvement. They just want to be miserable and sick their whole lives, and they don't care about making themselves better. There are lots of people like that, and I see it every day. And it's sad to see that people have just given up. They're just not. They just don't see any hope. And I was like that. I didn't see any hope. When I was younger, when I was 16, well, when I was 15, when I was suicidal, I had no hope for the future. 100 kilos, literally everyone hated me. The whole fucking world was just abusive to me. Every single day, every minute that I was outside in public, I was abused. Just because I was fat. It's disgusting how people treat each other. No wonder the suicide rate of people is through the fucking roof, 800,000 people a year. Because people are so fucking evil to each other. It doesn't have to be this way. We can make simple changes to our choices every day that within 3 months, maybe 6 months, the whole world could be in a completely different state. You want to make that change? There's something in your life that you're doing is causing you suffering. And you have to take responsibility for the things that you cause yourself. What other people do to you, you have very little control over. Unless they're physically abusing you. If it's only words that they're throwing at you, then you need to build a mental shield against it. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in other videos. If you're being physically abused by somebody, you need to find help somewhere. But don't abuse yourself. Don't cause your own suffering. And most people cause most of their own suffering through their actions and their environment that they choose to be in. I was 100 kilos. That was because I was eating ridiculous amounts of crap. Because my life was so shit, I was just stuffing my face with chocolate bar after chocolate bar after chocolate bar after chocolate bar after chocolate bar all day, and drinking litres and litres of soft drinks every single day because of the dopamine rush that it gave me. I mean, as a teenager, the high you get from all these chemicals is ridiculous. If you have ADHD and you have a source of dopamine through food, you become a binge eater. It's just so many people with ADHD have binge eating problems because the amount of dopamine that you get from the food makes it absolutely irresistible. This is a behaviour that affects your environment that's caused by your genetics of having ADHD, and they all combine that when those three effects multiply over time, that disease is inevitable. But just because you have ADHD doesn't mean that you are destined to have a terrible life. It just means that you need to understand a little bit more about how your brain is different. And if you understand how you're functioning is maybe not the same as somebody else, so their lifestyle won't necessarily be things that you can do. But there are certain basic principles that most humans, regardless of what their conditions are, can still engage in. That's why the 21 principles of the BPM lifestyle are designed to be as all-encompassing as possible so that people with all conditions have a chance of doing these things. There's going to be specific things that you may want to add in to a lifestyle plan if you have a specific condition, but the 21 principles are something that everybody can implement. If you have a certain reason why you can't do something, then maybe ask me for an alternative. I'm very good at problem solving. If you need some extra help, I'm going to give away everything in the BPM system for free. But if you need some guidance along the way, then I can help you with my coaching program, where I can tailor it specifically to what your needs are. I'm not a doctor. This is not a program that's designed specifically to treat a specific illness. It's a way of living to make your life better with your illness or to prevent you from getting one. But it's not designed as a treatment for an illness. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist, although I studied medicine. I don't have the qualifications to diagnose or cure anything. But lifestyle changes will put your body into a state where its natural healing abilities are not inhibited by your actions anymore. Your body is desperately trying to repair itself constantly. Your environment is extremely toxic all the time. Your behaviours can also be extremely toxic all the time unless you do something about it. And when you combine them, your body is just constantly fighting against you. And how long can it keep fighting? 10 years? 20 years? Maybe 30 years? It can fight and fight and fight against what you're doing, but you'll not see any symptoms yet. 40 years, your body's getting tired of fighting, and it just can't do it anymore. It's like, I can't keep up with the amount of abuse that I'm getting, and functions will start to degrade. Oh, it's just a natural part of aging. That's what people say. When you're 40, you're supposed to start getting sick. Why? Why do we accept that? That's the way it is. Can't do anything about it. Might as well drink myself to death, or whatever. Eat myself to death, or smoke myself to death, or whatever you're doing that's causing the problem that you're not willing to change. How long can your body fight against you? Or maybe just say, okay, for the next 6 months, just 6 months out of your entire life, just 6 months, just say, right, okay, for the next 6 months, I'm actually going to take care of me. You only have one body. Your DNA was created by the combination of a sperm and an egg that came together to make an absolutely unique, absolutely one in, I don't know how many combinations of DNA are possible to make a viable human, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big, big number. So the fact that you exist is so rare, so special. You're the only one of you that will ever be in existence, ever. And you poison your body every day? You don't go to the gym? You don't do anything to your body to try and give it the best chance of existing? Give yourself 6 months. Just 6 months. Follow the BPM system. And if I'm wrong, you can go, he was wrong. I want my money back of the money it didn't cost you to try. It's cost you nothing to try this, and it will change your life. I promise. If you follow all the 21 steps, which are in the previous video, I'm going to go deep dive into all the 21 steps later. If you do this, you will improve your quality of life. Guaranteed. You may not cure your disease 100%, but you will improve your quality of life to a condition where it's far better than it is now. And when you're in that position, like I'm in now, where I can then help other people, to be in that position is such a privilege because I didn't think I'd ever get this far. When I was 15, I didn't want to live at all. It wasn't until I was 21 that finally I wasn't suicidal anymore. For the first 20 years of my life, well, as long as I remember, I have memories until I was about 4, so yeah, it's a long time to want to kill yourself. So yeah, I don't want anyone else to have to be in that situation when all of the things that were causing those feelings and causing the ability were all caused by my behavior and my environment, linked through my genetics. I can't control the fact that I was born neurodivergent and have traits that people think, oh, he's a bit weird. Well, yeah, I'm a little bit weird. So what? But because of the abuse that I got for being weird, I ended up with severe depression and ate myself almost to death as a way of coping with the fact that everyone was so evil. And I don't want anyone else to go through that. And if there's something that I can share about my knowledge for the last 44 years of life, if that can help one person not feel as shit as I did and live with chronic illness for 25 years, can you imagine every single day for 25 years you are in excruciating pain that's so bad you want to kill yourself? Can you imagine that amount of pain every day for 25 years, and doctors tell you nothing we can do? No, nothing we can do. You just have to live like it. 10 years ago, I figured out the BPM lifestyle system and my pain went away for the first time. In 25 years, I had a day with no pain. I thought that day would be the day that I died, that the pain ended. But it didn't. It ended because I changed my behavior and I changed my environment to support my DNA. And now I live a happy, healthy life. I follow my excitement. Every day is a gift. Don't make today your last day. You have a chance now. Even if you're 70, 80 years old, it's not too late to make positive changes in your life. It's not too late. You may be in hospital with a heart attack and you may think, fuck it, I'm a goner. But if you listen to me and make the changes that I suggest, maybe you get another year, maybe you get another 2 years, maybe you get another 5 years. Do you want another 5 years with your kids? Do you want another 5 years with your parents? Or do you just want to say, fuck it, don't care, I'm just going to die anyway, so I might as well just die? It's sad to see family suffering. It's hard to see friends and everyone around you dying from diseases that shouldn't exist. Lifestyle medicine, lifestyle diseases, hundreds of millions of people suffering every single day from lifestyle diseases. It costs $40 trillion a year. $40 trillion a year globally in loss of life and medical costs for chronic disease. There's another way to live. There is another way to live. I'm living proof that no matter what situation you're in, you can change it. If you're homeless, fucking change your mindset and fix it. I've done it twice now. I was homeless when I was 23. I made millions of dollars. Got homeless again after a car crash. Fucked my neck. And I couldn't work for a year, and I'm homeless again. Now I own a hotel and I've cured all my chronic illnesses. There is a way out of whatever situation you're in. You have to believe it and you have to fight for it and want to actually do something with your life. Chronic disease, could you just imagine, in 1 year's time, if we could just reduce the chronic disease by 10%. 10% in a year. How many millions of lives that would change? But this system, if you actually follow it step by step, could take that down 80%. 80% of people who are suffering don't have to suffer as much. It comes down to your choices. Stop being a robot, being programmed by the TV. Stop being a robot programmed by your parents and only do what they say and have no free thought of your own. You are an independent, thinking, feeling entity. You can make choices that go against your programming. You can change your diet. You can break addictions. You can break addictive behaviors. You can change, but you have to want to change deep inside and know there's a better future if you do. It's so sad to see so many young people suffering and they don't see any hope of things changing, and then hundreds of thousands die every year because they see no hope. My mission now in life is to be that hope, to share my messages. If you believe me or not, there's nothing I can do to prove it to you. These are stories of my life that I have no evidence for. I can show you a picture of me when I was fat and a picture of me when I was muscly. Okay, there's some proof there to some degree. I can't prove that I had pain every day for 25 years. It's a story that I'm telling about my life that you can believe or not. But I'm telling the story because maybe there's some other kid like me, 15 years old, wanting to die because the pain they're in is so extreme that they just don't want to live anymore. And maybe I can be that hope that maybe they don't have to be in that much pain. There is another way. You can change everything about your life in such a short period of time. 3 months, you'll start to notice things improving. 6 months, you could be a totally new person. When I first started this program 10 years ago, when I was homeless, I was 92 kilos. I was in so much pain every day. The car crash caused problems with my neck, my collarbone, my knees. I was fucked. It was non-stop pain everywhere. And then within 6 months of doing this system, I'd lost 20 kilos. I ran 10 kilometers for the first time in my entire life. I never thought I'd run 1 kilometer, let alone 10 kilometers. And they run 10 kilometers in 56 minutes. I was like, holy shit. Like, that to me is a miracle. Because I couldn't run as a kid. I could barely walk. Couldn't even climb the stairs without getting an asthma attack. Because my lungs were suffering so much from the amount of weight pushing on them. And the diet I had was triggering asthma. I had no idea about the link between dairy and asthma until I stopped eating dairy and then realised that my allergies went away. Until you change something, you don't know what that thing is doing to you. That's why I'm a scientist. I decided on an experiment. For example, I'm going to see what happens if I remove this type of food from my diet for a period of 6 months. What happens to my physiology? How do I feel when I'm on that food? And how do I feel when I'm not having that food? And I've done this for years, my whole life. I've experimented with different diets, different nutrition, different supplements, all kinds of things. Through experimentation, through years and years and years, I've made choices that improve my lifestyle. My quality of life is massively improved now. After 34 years I've been experimenting on myself. I started when I was 10. When the chronic pain started, I started experimenting on myself to figure out how to stop it. It took me 25 years to figure it out. So if I can share that knowledge with you and save you those 25 years of pain, then my job is done. The whole point of this channel is to help people reduce their suffering and reduce the suffering that they cause to other people and animals. So yeah, if you want to understand disease, understand the interlink between the environment, the behaviours and the genetics, and even if you have a genetic condition, it doesn't have to be as devastating as it could be without intervention in your behaviour environment. This is waffled on enough, I think, for today. I think you get the point. I hope you get the point. The point is you have control, more than you think. And if you learn how to use that control, you can reverse and potentially cure diseases which doctors have no solution for. They can't cure you because there's no pill they can give you that will change your behaviour. There's no pill they can give you that will change what you eat. They can only give you pills to mitigate the damage of what you're doing to yourself. Stop damaging yourself, and your need for doctors to fix your self-inflicted problems will go down. It will. I promise you, it will. I'm not trying to sell you anything, I'm not trying to sell you a supplement, I'm not trying to sell you a treatment for anything. I'm trying to give you tools that you can use every day that will improve your life. I hope if you've made it this far in the video, big respect for putting up with my babbling for these videos. But my mission is to share as much information as possible, and that's not possible in 5-minute videos. So if you want to see things that will change your life for the better, you're going to have to dedicate a little bit of time to that process. And I promise you that the information I give you will help you. It will help you. It can't cause you any harm. The things in this system are so simple for everyone to do, and it just changes everything about your biochemistry. And it doesn't cost you anything. If you want help, I can coach you, and that's not for free, obviously, because that takes a lot of my time. But if you can be self-motivated, all the information will be given in these videos to help you make better choices for your health, health of your family, and the health of the planet that you live on, because we only have one planet, we only have one body, and we need to take care of both. We can't be selfish anymore and just go through life just eating whatever we feel like we're going to eat, kill whatever we want, take whatever we want. There's consequences. There's consequences to what you eat, there's consequences to what you do. I don't know if this video is enough to change just one person's mind. If it can change 10 people and save them, then I'm happy. But if you want to share it with people that you think might benefit, then please share, like, subscribe, comment, ask me any questions. I'll answer everything that I could possibly can about biology, chemistry and health. I've studied it my whole life, although I'm not a teacher and don't have a degree. Having a degree doesn't mean shit nowadays. You can learn everything for free. The piece of paper is only if you want to get a job. Anyway, that's a different video. Anyway, I wish you a happy and healthy life. You can make improvements if you want to. So for now, good luck.